respect first meeting where the script, they say, was a little bit Sherlock Holmes type. You know, he was an investigator, and you know, he threw that out completely. He said, "No, I can't play it like that." Anyway, there are too many lines, he said.
I think there is
Peter Davidson and Colin Baker always say, if it wasn't for Dad, you know, we wouldn't be working, you know.
And that's absolutely true. I mean, there is documented archival footage or other material which shows that the BBC were by no means sure that it would succeed with the change of lead role, and they did have contingency plans in place to perhaps pull it after a few episodes and replace it with something else. But basically, it's an instant success. I don't know whether you guys over here will have seen it, but many, many years ago, in the early 90s, the BBC did a celebration documentary about Doctor Who called 30 Years in the TARDIS. And I think perhaps what we were just talking about was best articulated by a former pop star and actress by the name of Toyah Willcox. I don't know if you've heard of her over here. She's married to Robert Fripp, the musician. But she was talking about having been a big fan herself of William Hartnell and being bereft at the fact that he effectively died at the end of an episode, and then your father came in, Michael, and she said it just shows how fickle we are. Within 2 episodes of the next story, which obviously did also have Daleks in it, they'd completely forgotten William Hartnell and were totally in love with your dad. And I must confess, I was very much the same.
I haven't heard that story. That's interesting. Yeah.
I still have the VHS copy of that.
Yeah, it's still available on DVD, and so I think it's an extra on one of the Blu-rays. Anybody else got a question? Yes, at the front.
Yeah, I was watching one of the animated versions of your dad's stories, and at one point, one of the characters refers to him as the old man and the 2 young people, and he was only 46 or 47 at the time. Did he routinely play characters that were older than he was?
He often did, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's what a character actor does. This is what I was talking about. You know, they're able to, you know, play younger or older than themselves. And you're quite right, he was only in his 40s. And it was like, you know, it was a ridiculous comment, really. I mean, you know, and when he was playing Quill in the old Curiosity Shop, which you may have seen, he completely changed his physical form. So much so that when my sister went to school, she went to a local school, a friend came up to her and said, "How on earth does your dad do that funny shape with his back? You know, when you know, he's so much smaller, because I've seen him, he's quite tall, you know, compared with how he is." And Joe just, you know, said, well, he takes a pill to make him small. So, yeah, unbelievable.
Did he do the Box of Delights?
Yes, Cole Hawkins in the Box of Delights.
That was after Hilda, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And he looked like 105 in the Box of Delights.
Well, exactly, yeah. Yeah, he was a great believer in growing beards, if he possibly could. I don't know why. He would appear in a lot of characters with a beard. You know, I'd often see him on the golf course, and, you know, he'd have this huge, great, ruffly beard. I'd say, why are you growing another beard? And he'd say, well, I'm playing this, you know, this old tramp in whatever it is.
One slightly gets the impression he was always hiding.
Yes, that is an interesting thing. I don't know. Maybe, possibly, yeah. I mean, he wanted to hide in Doctor Who, so no one would know who he was. You know, he wanted to have ridiculous makeups on and hats and things like that to avoid anybody knowing, any of the casting directors knowing that he was doing the role. So he would be typecast. Yeah.
Okay,
Ken's here now, actually. Ken.
I was going to say, have we got time for just one more question, or is that it, Ken? We got one more there from Jamie in the centre.
Actually, I'm the doctor.
Who is that? Is that
the doctor today?
It's Felix. That's Felix Foot.
Felix. Right.
So I want to ask, which episode of Doctor Who that your dad was in do you think is his best work as the Doctor?
Could you hear that, Michael?
No.
He said
Sorry.
basically, in your opinion, which episode of Doctor Who in which your father appeared would you think was his best episode?
Right. I think the one where he's the doppelganger.
Enemy of the World, yes.
Yeah. I mean, he was brilliant. That just brings out his brilliant skill as a character actor. Hi, Ken.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
And thank goodness they've now found it, so you can see just how good that performance was. For many years, we used to have the middle episode of that story, which was an awful lot of people sitting in corridors outside the prison cell, and therefore it was written off as fairly inconsequential. And then when it was found in 2013, it was completely resurrected, and people's attitudes changed completely, because it's a really good action-adventure story. Anyhow, I think that's just about all we've got time for. So, are you going to do the thank yous, Ken? Shall I hand straight over to you?
Yes, please. And Michael, first off, thanks for joining us virtually. We're missing you here in person.
I'm missing you lot. I really am.
Well, can we convince you to come next year then?
Yes.
And probably the most requested thing of you, Michael, is can you bring Roxy? That's what everybody wants.
Of course. He's the star.
He's the star, that's right. So I definitely want to see you here next year. You're more than invited. Everybody else does as well. So
we'll be there. And we'll make sure.
Excellent. Right in the diary, okay. And I also want to thank Andrew and Fraser for being here with us.
Had a great time.
Fun weekend, a very interesting weekend, but I want to thank everyone who came here this weekend for making it a success, for buying into what we had to endure this weekend just to get together in person. And it wasn't an easy thing. We had a lot of challenges.
I was just going to say, if I could interrupt you just a second, as a seasoned organiser myself, albeit somewhat in my dotage and retirement, to take the baby steps out of the COVID lockdown we've had and to organise a live event like this is a very, very brave and potentially dangerous decision. So good on you, Ken, for doing that.
And I really need to thank my staff. We have an all-volunteer staff. We always have. We've always had an all-volunteer staff, and they too took a lot of chances. Some of them were uncomfortable. Some of them decided to stay home, and that's fine. They'll be back next year. You know, these are all people we love, and some people are ready to come out, and some people aren't, and that's okay. We'll be here for them when they come back next year or the year after. That's just the way it is, and we're all managing this on our own terms, or at least trying to. I also wanted to point something out to you this evening. There's been a chair in the back of the room. It says David's chair. We lost a long-time LI Who regular, DWNY regular, long-time Doctor Who fan, David Adler. He passed away this week, and it's with much love and sadness that we held his place all weekend here in the main hall, as if he was here with us. And my longtime friend Gina just texted me from his wake today, and they pinned the badge for the weekend on him, and he's journeying to wherever he's going.
The great
as a Doctor Who fan would always be, wearing his badge and with ribbons and all that we prepared for him yesterday, as he probably would have wanted, because I'm sure he'd much rather be here with us this weekend. And also in the back, the standee is a Bill Davis Sr., who, those of you who were with us 2 years ago, that's Billy and Steven's dad, and he was a long-time supporter of LI Who. We always called him the driver, so you saw ribbons last time. I said just the driver, and his presence there is us. He's watching over us right now, making sure everything's going fine, and everything did go fine, so it clearly worked this weekend. Bill Sr. is like our good luck charm.
He certainly is. Always used to pick me up in the airport. And
you always have a story for you?
Always have a story. And learn a lot from him, I think.
Yeah. You probably got a solar-powered tchotchke from the dollar store if you got in the van with him, right? I have a dancing flower. Some people have the whale. Let's see, what else did I want to cover before I said goodbye to everybody? You can still buy tickets. I think Natalie is still out there. Oh, I should say passes. Tickets is a naughty word here. We use passes. Tickets,
please.
Yeah, it sounds like Ticketmaster, which are evil and want to destroy the universe. But yes, you can still get it. It's at the lowest possible price right now, but then it'll go on sale online for advanced reg probably early December if all goes well.
How much is it? How much is it?
Yeah. You're paying me. This is quite the state on the calendar. Fraser's taking out money.
I got $200, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've known Fraser Hines since 1987, and that has never happened before.
There's one other thing I wanted to tell you a little bit about Fraser. Earlier this year, it was maybe around April, Fraser messaged me, said, airfare is very cheap for coming in November right now. You think you'll do a convention? I don't know, Fraser. I don't know if we're going to do it. We really don't know what's going to happen. Airfare is very cheap right now. I said, well, Fraser, listen, if we don't do a convention, maybe we'll do like a little dinner or something. We'll have a fan dinner. I'll organize something no matter what. And if we don't, you come to New York and you hang out with your friends, and we'll show you a good time. That's right. Airfare is very cheap, you know. So I called Billy and I said, listen, Fraser's coming whether we have a convention or not. And Billy will tell you, we toyed with actually calling the whole damn thing FraserCon this year. Because he's coming no matter what, we can't stop him. And Stephanie said, I think he'd get in a rowboat at this point to get me. Because he's dying to get out of the
Can I
house.
just very quickly add that Fraser also did that in full knowledge that until 10 days ago, your government didn't actually allow us entry into the country.
I'm not used to you. If the government knew it was Fraser, they probably still would.
I had to bring Biden up personally. I said, you've got to open the borders. He said, okay, Fraser, I'll open the borders for you.
You must have really pulled some strings because it happened just in time, right?
Ken, he would have showed up in a biohazard suit, dark blue as the TARDIS.
That's right. That's right. He would have come dressed like an astronaut today. So I remember what the last thing was that I wanted to mention, and I was in touch recently with Waris Hussein about possibly doing something, and I need you to do me a favor as a crowd, real quick, and you'll have to trust me on this one. I know that's a big ask, but we need to send Waris. Can you pause it 1 second and restart this so he doesn't see this part? We're going to shoot a quick video for Waris, okay? And we need to send him some love. I think he's in the need. He needs a little love right now, and we're going to send him some love, okay? So I'm going to send a quick message, and we're all going to cheer for him, please. And I'm going to send him this video message. I think this will help cheer him up now. Something like I was mentioning before, not everybody's handling COVID as well as everybody else is. And I'm taking you in my confidence, so please don't go spreading this shit on Twitter, because then you won't come back next year, I promise. All right? So, are you ready? Ready. All right. Waris, we're here at Li Who Presents Time Flight. I'm here with Fraser Hines and Andrew Beach, and behind us is Michael Troughton, and here's the crowd in the main hall. Woo! And Waris, we want to tell you we love you and we miss you. We're sending out good vibes. We hope to see you soon. We wish you the best, okay? Cheers.
Cheers, Waris.
What happens at Time Flight stays at Time Flight, right?
YouTube.
Tonight there's a new episode on, by the way, in case some of you probably already been, now we know what happened to the bandwidth tonight. It was everybody in there watching the afternoon showing, all right? But yeah, there's an episode tonight, so be mindful of spoilers, okay? Because there's a bunch of people who probably haven't seen it yet. But again, thank you all for coming. Thank you, Michael. Staff. Thank you to the Thank you, Michael, for joining us. To E.G., to Rachel Grant, to John Davey, to Colin Spall, to Michael Kingston, to Andrew Beach, to Joanna Ball, who is fantastic, to Fraser Hines, of course, the godfather of L.I.U. Thank you all for coming. Cheers. We'll see you next year. Same back time.
Same back channel.